It's been more than 10 years since the residents of James Island complained about widespread stucco failures.
That home became hell to us, absolute hell.
As First Coast News reported in 2003, the builder eventually acknowledged the homes weren't built to code.
We found that those problems were systemic throughout not only that neighborhood, but really throughout North Florida.
Attorney Barry Ansbacher represented the residents of James Island. He says at the time it wasn't even possible to buy the equipment to make sure stucco was applied thick enough, 7/8 of an inch, as required by law.
They only sold half-inch accessories or smaller in this area, so you couldn't even purchase a 7/8 inch accessory, so it was clear that the industry was just blatantly ignoring the obligations under the building code.
It's not rocket science, but it is a complex process.
Casey Ratchford is a Jacksonville attorney who represents hundreds of homeowners on the First Coast with failing stucco. He says problems start when it's applied too thin or too quickly.
So what you have in effect is homes that are built by laborers who are not trained and don't know how to do it correctly.
Florida doesn't require a license or any training to apply stucco. And because it goes on in 3 coats, each of which takes at least a day to dry, it's difficult to supervise.
Good chance that people were running too fast, hurrying job to job.
Tom Goldsberry, chief of the city's building inspection division, says the boom years in Florida real estate were bad for home quality.
05, 06, where we did 9,000 new houses a year, and now we do 2,500. Maybe people didn't take as good a care as they should have.
Goldsberry says there's little he can do, noting many home inspections are conducted by private inspection companies hired by the home builder. Even when city inspectors are involved, Goldsberry says they don't have the manpower to oversee each phase of stucco application.
It's just something that we can't do. We're not required to do, we can't do.
In fact, the city could do more. State law allows for extra inspections, and communities like South Florida, including Broward County, have added them, in part to cope with a wave of stucco failures. Goldsberry says the city has talked about adding inspections, but for now,
that you've got to count on your builder to make sure it's done right.
Unfortunately, that doesn't appear to be happening.
The biggest investment that they've made is now worth half of what it should be worth through no fault of their own, and I don't think that that's what they're expecting when they're buying a brand new house.
Ann Schindler, First Coast News, NBC 12, ABC 25.